At it again, and we've got to talk about a interview that I checked out with you guys just the other day, because the left, they are losing their minds right now. They are in an absolute panic. Trump, well, he just dropped the Trump card on them. Like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you are new. And just so you guys understand where I'm going with this before we hop into it, because I've got several clips, so stick around. Trump did an interview with Univision, and we checked that out just the other day. He had an interview which is a Spanish-speaking, news station. It's a big Spanish-speaking news station. I believe it is the #1 Spanish-speaking news station that a lot of Spanish-speaking individuals tune into. Trump did an interview with them, and Democrats, they ain't liking it too much. Let's dive in.
It's not just the Trump interview that's causing such agita. If a big rightward pro-Trump shift has been organized at America's largest Spanish language broadcaster, that could have huge implications for the 2024 election. I mean, Univision is the 7th biggest network audience in all of TV. It is the most watched Spanish language network in the United States. The day before the Trump interview aired, Univision's Miami affiliate reportedly preempted its normal programming for a 3-hour special leading up to a Trump rally in Florida. It was just a regular Trump rally. There's Trump rallies all the time, but they gave it a 3-hour special, including breathless live coverage. They treated it like it was the moon landing.
They gave Trump breathless live coverage. They actually gave a candidate live coverage. That wasn't Biden. They are scared. They are scared. They know what's coming. Oh my goodness. But let's jump back in. I got a lot to show you guys today, man.
We spoke to 3 former Univision executives today who say they are hearing concerns from current employees that the instruction to blow out regular local programming for breathless, hours-long live Trump rally coverage is a decision that likely came from the top. It was likely directed by network executives. We also heard from 5 sources today, 2 of them current Univision employees, that editorial control at local Univision stations has recently been brought under the direction of the overall network, which means local stations no longer have ultimate control over their coverage decisions. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. Different networks operate in different ways when it comes to their affiliates, but this is a change. And if Univision executives like Jared's guy decide to use that change to push for obsequiously pro-Trump wall-to-wall coverage for the next year, including, say, at their affiliates in swing states, well, that would be a 5-alarm fire for the Biden campaign for obvious reasons.
It's been a 5-alarm fire, It's been red hot alert, we need backup. Like, it's been that. Every single poll that you look at, every single one across the board, including one that I showed you guys just the other day. I think it was NBC. Correct me if I'm wrong. Who has never had Trump in the lead, now has Trump leading. We're leading on every single issue except for abortion, of course. That's one of the only issues that Republicans are consistently losing on. But Trump has moderated himself on that, which I think is a great decision. I understand people's frustration with that, but you can't win. And I've said this before, dying on the abortion hill is putting more lives at risk than moderating yourself now, putting yourself in office, then re-educating the population, because it's not even up to the president at this point, it's up to the states, but then re-educating the population on the ramifications of it all, then proposing the question back to, the American population. That's the way that you get this done. You're not going to get it by dying on the hill. Oh no, I'm planting my flag on abortion, I'm standing on it. You're going to lose. You're going to lose every single election, and you're going to put more lives at risk because Democrats are going to get elected, and they're going to not have any type of restrictions whatsoever on it at all. So it's just going to be a free for all. So you're almost doing more harm than good. Well, you are doing more harm than good, in my humble opinion. So as long as Trump stays the way he is on abortion, it's over with. I mean, just watch these folks absolutely panic over this. Check out this clip too.
Univision facing growing backlash after giving Donald Trump the royal treatment. Now, after that interview, Univision canceled Joe Biden's campaign ads that were already purchased to run during the interview in the key states of Nevada, Arizona, Pennsylvania, and Florida. Univision also canceled an interview with Maca Casado, the Biden team's Hispanic media director, that was supposed to be in response to Trump's interview. And then 1 week after Trump's interview aired,
Hold on. So you mean they gave Joe Biden the same treatment that y'all want to give Trump? Y'all remember when Trump was I guess really all interviews he's done on MSNBC, CNN. I mean, it's just been with Caitlin Collins, I believe that's her name, the white chick that he did the interview with. I'm sorry, I just had to say. I mean, she is white. I assume she's white, I guess. But because he's done 2 interviews with 2 different ladies. He's done one with, I believe she's Indian, if I'm correct, and then the white lady. I believe her name was Caitlin Collins. Now, Caitlin Collins, she argued back with him the whole time. It wasn't even really an interview. She tried to debate the man. It wasn't, and then the Indian lady tried to get him in a gotcha moment, right? And it didn't work, obviously. And with Caitlin Collins, it didn't work. If that's the chick's name, I believe that is. Her tactics didn't work at all either. But it's just funny how they try to word all of this stuff. It's wild.
Univision's top anchor, Leon Krauss, left the network. The reasoning is not yet clear. But the turn of events has raised concerns about how changes at Univision, which was once highly critical of Donald Trump, could impact the crucial Latino vote.
Folks have to understand, for those who don't follow Spanish language media, Univision is more than just a network. For so long, it's a network that dominated by far Spanish language media. That's changed a little bit. Telemundo has caught up in the last few years, but it's still the dominant network. And it was more than just a TV network for Spanish language American consumers. It was really like a community resource. And because of that, there was more trust put into the opinions and the insights of people on Univision. So it is very concerning if the network has made a decision to be friendlier to Donald Trump, given his track record. That this is important because the Latino vote is going to be an indispensable part of Joe Biden's Democratic coalition in 2024.
He said it's concerning if they decide to be friendly to Trump. That's how you know they're panicking right now. Like, they always talk about fascism, dictator, authoritarian. And yet they are the ones that are implementing the, oh, nope, you can't speak. The voters, they're not even allowed to hear you. This is another thing, too. This is how you know their policies are absolutely terrible. If you believed in your policies and you, truly was 100% confident in your ability to run a country, just stand up and debate Trump. Refute everything he's saying. Why are you trying to silence him? State your claim. Make your, whatever you have to say, make your statement, whatever it is, and let it be. Let the people of the country decide. I thought they loved democracy. They always talk about threat to democracy. Why don't you let the people decide in the democratic way? Let them vote. Let us people decide what we want. Why are they still trying to, oh no, you can't hear Trump. Oh no, you can't be friendly to Trump. You can't air wall-to-wall coverage of Trump. Oh no, absolutely not. Why are they so scared? We all know why. The policies are terrible. They know once Trump gets in office, it's a wrap. And they know Trump is going to be in office. It's facts, in my opinion.
By most estimates, he got between 60 and 65% of the Latino vote in 2020. That made a huge difference in states like Arizona and Nevada, even in places like Georgia and Michigan that are also going to be battlegrounds this year.
One thing that we talk about a lot in South Florida especially is how far and wide Spanish language radio, for example, goes unchecked, unfact-checked. The fact that there's a lot of stuff that's disseminated that is not corrected. What can the Democrats do? Let's just say that Univision doesn't really kind of lean or veer on the side of journalistic integrity. What can Democrats do to make sure that the messaging gets out and it's effectively done for the Latino vote?
Well, it just highlights the importance of having a very strong Spanish language strategy on all platforms, on traditional television, but also, of course, on all of the social media platforms, because a lot of this misinformation and disinformation happens on, whether it's WhatsApp or TikTok or other platforms. And so there needs to be that as well, a coordinated effort from Democrats to address that and to put out the right information, accurate information. On top of that, though, they need to keep pushing back on both traditional media and these social media platforms when they don't police misinformation or disinformation.
Hold on. Well, that was the end of that clip anyway. Who gave Democrats the authority to decide what is misinformation and disinformation? Who made them the almighty arbitrators of misinformation and disinformation? Sounds like some authoritarians to me. Y'all get to decide what is misinformation and disinformation? Once again, I thought y'all loved democracy. Let people speak. I thought y'all loved freedom. I thought y'all weren't authoritarians. All I see are Democrats trying to dictate what people get to see, what people get to hear, and what people get to say. Democrats want to dictate the whole thing. If they could have their way, Trump would be underneath the jail, completely silent, gone, out of the way, and anybody who says anything like what Trump is saying would be silenced. That doesn't sound like freedom to me. That sounds like exactly what they are accusing Trump and Republicans of being, in my humble opinion. But I digress. Who am I? I'm just a guy that makes videos online from time to time. The View. Check it out.
And Anna are kind of saying, what the hell's going on over there? And some folks are calling for a boycott. Why is Univision going through this? And what's happening here, Anna? I'm going to ask you.
What the hell is going on there?
Yeah.
I've gotten so many calls in the last 10 days saying, Univision. What the hell is happening in Univision? Because, look, Univision, as you said, is the giant in Spanish news. And in Spanish news, there's a ton of misinformation in our community newspapers, in our radio stations. This is the place where Latinos, Spanish-speaking Latinos, go to get informed, to form educated opinions, to get engaged. They help people get out to... They've been really great corporate citizens and community citizens. They have a tremendous co-anchor named Jorge Ramos, who's been there for decades, and they've got great credibility. I've seen many a strong man, many a corrupt person, leader, squirm under the questioning of Jorge Ramos, but they didn't have Jorge Ramos do this interview. No. They had a guy named Enrique Acevedo, who's supposedly a good journalist. I don't know him, but he sat there like if he was interviewing a panda. Yeah. And, somebody described the interview, a political writer, as so soft it could have been pillow stuffing, and then all the things you've mentioned.
Wait a second. You mean like the interviews that they always do with Joe Biden? You mean like those interviews where he just basically gets to just say whatever he wants to, unfeathered? That's what you mean? Oh, so you're saying Trump got some of the same treatment, allegedly, that Joe Biden gets? Well, I'll be darned if they get the same treatment. How dare Trump? Oh, goodness gracious, that terrible guy, Trump. How could he possibly get the same treatment as Joe Biden? Like, how terrible is that, man? We can't have that in a democracy, in the democracy of America. What is this guy Trump thinking? What is this?
happen. And so it's led to all of this speculation. And then we learned that Jared Kushner is somehow involved, greasing the wheels with Televisa, the Mexican side that has bought part of it. So this is what I would say to Univision viewers. Use your voice. Use your remote controls. Use your purchasing power with advertisers. If you've got questions, let them know. If you are disappointed and troubled, let them know. Because Univision has held people accountable, it is time for us Latinos to hold Univision accountable.
Yeah. Well, and I think that this...
Hold them accountable for what? Being fair? This is what I mean. This is why I wanted to show this to you guys. Like, what do you mean? Hold them accountable for what? Being fair? Letting Trump speak? Huh? Letting the people hear what Trump has to say and not interjecting their own personal opinion into everything that Trump has to say? Like, is that what they're guilty of? Letting people hear Trump? Like, I don't understand. Like, that's a crime? Like, that means that they need to shut down the whole operation because they were fair and nice to Trump. Wow. Well, seems like Trump cut that grass pretty low, huh? Now we can see all the snakes slithering through, and we can see exactly who these Democrats actually are. And it's time we expose them. We cannot let them get away with this. They always accuse Republicans of being fascists and dictators and authoritarians and this and that. And look at them. They're telling you, oh, no, you can't be fair to Trump. Nope. We can't let him speak. Nope. You can't hear what it is. I don't care if you want to hear it. You can't hear it. Does that sound like freedom to you? That sounds like dictator to me.
I think this underscores how 7 years into Trump, the media still grapples with how to cover him effectively. And I think many can be guilty of it, where we talk about a lot of things like this civil suit in New York. Yes, it matters. That does not impact tens of millions of Americans. What does, and what I don't think is getting enough attention, is he's talking about rounding up undocumented migrants and putting them into essentially concentration camps. He's talking about an agenda of
Oh, did you say undocumented? You mean like the people that came illegally across the border? That's what you talk about? Oh, you mean like the people of Chicago have been screaming for? Get them out of here? You mean like the people of the Democrats, mind you, in Chicago, and the Democrats of New York who were saying close the border, who were complaining? Oh, you mean like the rapper Cardi B was just complaining about just the other day and I showed you guys? Oh, you mean Trump is actually going to do what the people want him to do? The people of this country want him to do? Oh, I'm sorry. Of course. That's a crime because it didn't come from the elites. It didn't come from the high ups. It came from us peasants, us peasant voters. So of course not. He's not allowed to listen to the voters. I'm sorry. Silly me. You know, I fell yesterday. You know, I don't know. Like maybe I don't know.
Retribution against former government officials like myself, like Mark Milley and others when he's back in office. He's talking about reinstating the Muslim ban, which applies to my home nation.
Getting rid of NBC.
So he's also talking about
where's the anchor? Why wasn't the anchor?
He was sitting there smiling at Mar-a-Lago like if he was interviewing Barney the dinosaur.
I was going to say
I love you, you love me. We're a happy family.
One of the problems with the interview is that it was hours long. He was rambling. There was very little pushback. He was allowed to lie about what his administration accomplished and didn't accomplish, what they did, what they didn't do.
Oh, you mean like Joe Biden? Okay.
And the other piece of it, I think, that's troubling is that 3 executives went to Mar-a-Lago for dinner and to hang out. Like, there is supposed to be a separation between your interview subject and the interviewer, and especially the network. You're supposed to you're supposed to be neutral as a journalist.
Oh, so you mean, they're not allowed to hang out at all? Have coffee? Have a couple drinks? Possibly. Well, Trump doesn't drink. Have a little food, right? They're not allowed to do that? So you mean to tell me that none of these executives meet with anybody in the Biden administration? Nothing? Okay. All right.
And we see a lack of neutrality. We also know that the...
Lack of neutrality. Glad you said that. Like on your show. A lack of neutrality. You're literally called The View. when I think of The View, I think of like multiple vantage points, in terms of a TV show with multiple hosts, I think of multiple different points of view. And yet every time that I tune into The View, I only get one view, only get one point. Even from the so-called Republicans on the show, they all agree. Where's these different viewpoints? Why is it even called The View at this point? It's not The View. There's no multiple viewpoints. I'm not getting any type of view. It should be called The Tunnel. Because that's all it is. Hey, right here. Boom. Nope, nothing outside of that. Boom. Right here.
I think the debate, one of the Republican debates, was co-sponsored by Fox Business Channel, and Univision. And so it seems like they're sort of putting their thumb on the scale for the Republican Party. And the Latino vote is a very important vote.
When did the shift happen?
Oh, you mean like... Goodness gracious.
No, because there was
It seems to have happened in the past.
Well,
Latinos are
Televisa, which is
Democrat.
a Mexican network, the largest Mexican network in Mexico, has bought 45% of Univision, which is all they are allowed to buy under current law because a foreign entity can't own the majority of a network. And that's part of what people are speculating. Do they want that law changed?
But even so, journalists themselves, regardless of the parent company, have a duty to be neutral, to try to be as objective as possible, and to fact check. And that's the challenge with Trump, is he bulldozes people, the most seasoned journalists. I think pre-taping interviews with him and then allowing yourself to edit in fact checks throughout, because the public doesn't even know what is real and what's not.
Oh, be neutral. Once again, brought up that whole point. And then go back and edit. Got it. Like, Who did that recently? Crap, we checked out something where they edited the crap out of his out of one of his speeches or something and left out a whole piece of it and made it sound like he said something that he really didn't. Was that MSNBC or I don't remember. It was one of them leftist media networks, right? But I just find all of this interesting, that they are in an absolute panic, and hilarious that Trump has literally dropped the Trump card on them. He's basically hit him with the Uno reverse. Oh, well, you guys want to let all of these immigrants in here from through the southern border, a lot of them Spanish speaking. Okay, well, I'm going to go to the largest Spanish speaking news network and give them my thoughts and my opinions. How about that? And now they're in an uproar about it because they're like, oh crap, we let in all these Spanish speaking people, and now Trump is cozying up with the largest Spanish speaking network in America. Oh boy. Incredible stuff right there, isn't it? Absolutely amazing stuff. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. The ultimate Trump card. Let the Democrats, let them all in. And this is why I say, man, Trump is playing chess, not checkers. This is yet another example of Donald Trump playing chess and not checkers. He knows he can't do anything about immigration now. He knows that they might possibly try to allow these people to cast a ballot. So, okay, well, I'm going to go to their number one news station and give them my thoughts and opinions. I'm going to do a long interview with them. Right, I'm gonna stay here for as long as I need to get my point across. And hey, I'm even gonna invite the executives for dinner so I can be invited on again. It's chess, not checkers, baby. It's chess, not checkers. So whenever, this is what I want to caution people with, because this is one thing that I've noticed, and like kind of runs through the back of my mind when certain things happen. Just remember, when Trump says or does something where you're like, why did he do that? I don't really agree with that. Remember in the back of your mind, he's playing chess, not checkers. Not every move. You can't always show your hand. You can't always, appease your base, right? When you're playing chess and not checkers. You can't always say what you want to say when you're playing chess, not checkers. You have to be very strategic. Very, very strategic, like the abortion issue. You have to be strategic. So understand that when he says something that you may disagree with or does something that you may disagree with, just stop and think about it for a second. Is this another chess move? I think he's playing chess, not checkers. But y'all let me know how you feel about it in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.